Welcome back to Luke's Properties YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get your first rent-to-rent deal. Let's get into it. Okay, so step one, you need to understand your customer avatar. Now, this is something that most people who want to get started in rent-to-rent don't understand. It's not just as simple as setting up a company, sending a couple emails, making a couple phone calls, and then getting a rent-to-rent deal. It doesn't work like that. In order for you to get your first rent-to-rent deal, you have to add value to landlords or estate agents. But before you can add value, you need to understand who you're adding value to. So in this example, we're going to discuss a landlord. Understanding your customer avatar. Who is this person? So the first thing I want you to do is list the problems that your ideal customer avatar may be facing. So if it's a landlord, maybe they're facing void periods. Maybe they don't like having to pay estate agent fees every 6 to 12 months. So fees would be another pain point of your ideal customer. Another common pain point for landlords who are self-managing is tenants. So dealing with tenants, collecting rent, dealing with tenants not paying rent, chasing tenants up for rent arrears. These are all issues that landlords don't like dealing with. Or maybe they've been an HMO landlord for 20 to 30 years, and at this point, they're just tired. They're tired of dealing with it all. They're tired of managing the property themselves, and they're not happy with their local letting agent services. So they're looking for a solution to these pain points. So step one should be to understand your customer avatar. Who is this person? I want you to list your ideal customer's pain points. So get deep with this. I've given you 4 examples there, but go even deeper. The more pain points you can list, the more chances you have to solve those problems. So step 2 is you need to be able to explain and demonstrate how your service can solve these pain points. So with rent-to-rent, you offer a long-term guaranteed rent. Most rent-to-rent operators normally take care of minor maintenance. They also pay all of the bills, so the running costs associated with the property. They deal with the tenants. They manage the property. And these are all jobs that the landlord doesn't really want to do. So as a rent-to-rent operator, you need to be able to explain and demonstrate how your services can solve the landlord's pain points. The landlord's tired. They don't like void periods. They don't like dealing with tenants, and they don't like paying estate agency fees. So your rent-to-rent service would deal with tenants. So that takes away that pain point. Most HMO landlords are probably going to be in their 50s, 60s. It's quite likely that a rent-to-rent operator is probably going to be younger than that. So they're going to have more energy, and they're not going to be at this stage where they're tired of being a landlord for 20 to 30 years. Most rent-to-rent operators don't own a property yet. So they're hungry, they're eager to learn, and they've got energy to handle running an HMO. Void periods, another pain point that you could solve. As a rent-to-rent operator, you're guaranteeing the rent over 1 to 5 years. So the landlord doesn't ever have to worry about void periods because they're constantly getting a guaranteed rent from you every single month over the agreed term. So you solved another problem for them. And fees, you're not going to charge any estate agency fees because you're a specialized management company. And as a company that specializes in guaranteed rent, you're going to agree a fixed rent with the landlord. You're not going to charge them any tenant fine fees as your company is going to be the tenant. So you've solved yet another problem for them. You need to be able to explain this over the phone or over email, but you also need to be able to demonstrate this. So if you were to speak to a landlord on Zoom, for example, you need to be able to explain these points to a landlord, and you need to be able to explain how your service can solve their problem, whether that be through your marketing or actually pitching a landlord on the phone or over email or on a Zoom call or even face to face. Most of my deals, I've had to arrange a meeting, and then when I've met the landlord, I've been able to show them how our service can help them face to face. And I've always found that that normally builds the trust and normally gets me the deal. Step 3, you need to be able to negotiate a good deal. So a good deal isn't just a house that's going to make you thousands of pounds every single month. It needs to be a good deal for the landlord too. So you need to be able to create fair exchange. The landlord needs to see the upside to the agreement just as much as you do. And yes, of course, there needs to be profit in the deal for you. There needs to be a margin for you to be able to make money, but you don't make money until you add value. So you need to find the biting point where you're helping the landlord, you're solving all of their pain points, and then as a result of that, you then get paid later on down the line. But the whole pitch doesn't work unless you're solving their problems. So you have to understand who they are, what their problems are. You have to understand how you can help them, and you need to be able to demonstrate that to them. And then when it comes to the negotiation, you need to find fair exchange where you're helping them just as much as they're helping you. And you need to have that synergy between each other. You both understand what you're getting from the agreement, and you both feel like it's fair. And this can take some back and forth. This might not happen with the first terms that you send over to the landlord. They may come back with some things they want you to include in the contract. Maybe they want you to add a break clause. These are things that you can negotiate and go back and forth with. Maybe you could agree to organize their gas certificate to be done every year. These are extra little things that can sweeten the deal. But ultimately, you need to create fair exchange. The landlord needs to be happy, and so do you. You need to create a win-win scenario for both parties involved. So step 4, you need to over deliver. Once you've got the keys, once you've done the refurbishment and you've got your furnishings in there, and then you've gone and found tenants, you need to over deliver. So make sure the rent is always paid on time. Make sure the property is kept in good condition. Keep the landlord updated every quarter. Let them know how things are working out. Be transparent, because that relationship works both ways. Because if something goes wrong with the structure of the property, the boiler, the windows, for example, you need to be able to contact that landlord and they need to fix the issue. So you need to have clear lines of communication with the landlord. It's not just a case of them giving you the keys and never speaking to you again. Teamwork makes the dream work, and you both need to be in on this. As much as the income needs to be passive for the landlord, they still need to fulfill their legal obligations as a landlord. Your service is just going to make being a landlord as passive as possible. So once you've got the deal, over deliver, especially in the first year. And then as time goes on, hopefully you'll be able to renegotiate a 3 to 5 year contract once you've built the trust and rapport. But this is why it's so important to over deliver in the beginning. When I first started, I used to over deliver to all of my landlords. And as a result of that, I've managed to keep hold of quite a few of them. And I'm still working with some of them today, 7 years later. So just to summarize, step 1, understand the customer avatar. Step 2, explain and demonstrate how your service can solve the pain. Step 3, negotiate a deal, create fair exchange. And step 4, over deliver, build trust and rapport. If you've made it this far in the video, then you take your rent to rent education seriously. And as a token of my appreciation for you watching the video this long, I've included a free rent to rent course in the video description below. Take the course. It's only going to further your rent to rent education, and it's free, so why wouldn't you? If you want to watch another video where I give you the ultimate rent to rent guide step by step, then watch this video next. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.